यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुना जय राधा कुंज जय गोपी जन गिरिवराधारी जय हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोपी जन वल्लभ राधा गोपी जन वल्लभ राधा जय निताय पतिता पावन गौर हरि जय निताय पतिता पावन गौर हरि जय जय प्रभु 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 जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज आचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज आचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत स्वामी ठाकुर महाराज की जय। नंद कोट वैष्णव वृंद की जय। आगोश सभी के लिए हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 31, Text number 3. Hare Krishna, can you hear me online?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So 31, 3. Mashena tu shirodha dvabhyam. Mashena tu shirodhabhyam. Bhavangri adya anga vigraha. Bhavangri adi anga vigraha. Naka nakaloma sti charmani nakaloma sti charmani lingachitro bhavastrivi मासेन तु शिरोधा द्वाभ्याम् बाह्व्यङ्ग्र आद्य अङ्गविग्रह नकलोमस्ति चर्माणि लिङ्गच्छिद्रोद्भवस्त्रिभिः. Translation. In the course of a month, a head is formed, and at the end of 2 months, the hands, feet, and other limbs take shape. By the end of 3 months, the nails, fingers, toes, body hair, bones, and skin appear. As to do the organ of generation and other apertures in the body, namely the eyes, nostrils, ears, mouth, and anus. So this word doesn't have any translation. We are moving to next words. Chaturbir sapta Panchavikshutrid Udbhavaha Shadber Jarayuna Vita Kukshav Paramiyati Dakshin Kukshay Brahmyati Dakshine. Translation report by University of Prabhupada. Within 4 months of the date of conception, several essential ingredients of the body, namely child, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and the semen, come into existence. At the end of 5 months, hunger, thirst make themselves felt. And at the end of 6 months, the fetus enclosed by the amnion begin to move on the right side of the abdomen. Purport. When the body of a child is completely formed at the end of 6 months, the child, if he is a male, begins to move towards the right side, and if he is female, she tries to move towards the left side. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Vam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरोऽन्यतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम् हरे कृष्ण. So in this chapter Lord Kapila is explaining about the passing of the jiva from one species to another species and attaining the human form of life. And after attaining the human form of life, how his body develops within the womb and how he takes birth. Like that, Kapil Dev is going to narrate the past, the narrate the event or the occurrences of the jiva's birth. So it is said that now, like in the previous chapter, Lord Kapil Dev explains about different hellish planets and different hellish punishments also. How after passing away the body, the living entity is taken to the hell, all those things. And after that, why the living entities are taken to the hell? If somebody performs sinful activities, they are taken to hell so that they are punished enough to get rid of all their sinful reactions so that they will get qualified to have body in the next life. If somebody like even the animal body, even the body of a tree, even the body of an insect are also very valuable. So because the souls who are very sinful, who are sinful, uh, and their sins are so great that like any punishment in this material world doesn't compensate their sinful reaction, then that kind of soul is sent to the hellish planet, where they will be given yatana sharir and they will be put through lot of rigorous punishments, so that the jiva will get will atone to its sinful reactions and then get qualified to receive another body. So in one case, that is a service that Lord Dharmaraja, like who is the Lord of Death, is doing to the humanity in general, or all the living entities. So one may ask, okay, what is the purpose of Lord Krishna giving us the free will, and when we misuse it and punishing us, and again he punish the living entity get punished, and at the same time in the next life when he start the next life, he is fully ignorant of what has happened. He will totally forget what kind of crimes he has committed. He will totally forget what kind of punishments he has gone through. All this due to his sinful reaction, sinful activities. So if he forgets totally, then what is the point of uh, giving free will and punishing? At least the living entity should have the ability to remember what mistakes he has done and what punishment he has went through. That's how he will not be able to do that mistakes again. So on the it is like for us on the material level, we may not be able to recall the or the living entities who went through the hellish punishments may not be able to recall the sufferings they have undergone or the sinful activities they have committed. But on the spiritual level, the entire memory remains fresh. He will never forget even one incident also. Because when the living entity in the womb of mother, he was not still captured by the modes of material nature. So when the modes of material nature, when Maya catches the person when he comes out of the womb of mother, then he will be covered up with the avarnatmika Shakti of the Lord, means the covering potency, by which it will totally cover the knowledge and remembrance of the jiva. It is said that when there is difficulty in taking birth, the jiva within the womb of the mother, he actually recalls what sinful activities he has done, how many lifetimes he is going through, the cycle of birth and death, and he offers very pitiable prayers to the Lord Hari. When Krishna is pleased with his by his due to his prayers, uh, then by mercy of Krishna, then the living entity will take the birth. Now, so after it's not only the human birth, but also the living entity can take up to 84 lakh species of any of the 84 lakh species of life based on their karmic reactions. So Mahavishnu Swami says in his lecture that no, at least we have gone through, uh, at least in one go, at least we have gone through all the species of life. Means a person falling from the spiritual world, he will degrade into such extent that no, he will actually goes through all the species of life, plant, insect, dogs, cats, all the species of life. He will go through all the lives. And then by his good fortune, and by his good fortune, when he enough of his sinful reactions are atoned or counteracted, then he will be given the human form of life. So we are taking for granted the body, like the bodies of other living entities like birds, animals, insects, and also the humans. But as per the laws of nature, even to get a body is very valuable. And that too, the human form of life is more valuable because in the human form of life, one will have the facility to remember Lord and revive his original constitutional position of and re-establishing his relationship with Krishna, and he will have the chance to go back to Godhead and altogether end the sufferings of this material existence. So we all know that we have different kinds of kleshas, the sufferings. So in the scriptures it is said that what are the four basic uh, kleshas are the sufferings are janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, birth, old age, and disease and death. Okay. So now in this chapter, Kapil Dev elaborately explains the process of birth and like now when we say like now what are these kleshas, these sufferings that the living entity undergoes, and when you say birth is also a suffering, people in general will not take it very seriously. They think, why? How can you say birth is birth is a suffering? Birth is a klesha, because we all say happy birthday. We celebrate the one taking birth. But according to scripture, birth is also a very painful process. That will come in later sections of this chapter. Okay. And in this section, we will discuss about the value of the human form of life. Value of the human, it is said that the manusha janmas sudurlabha, means very, very rare. After going through many species of life, one gets the human form of life. But when one gets the human form of life, if he just utilizes for the sake of all this material things, or for the sake of sense gratification, then he is a very unfortunate person. So if there is a nice story in the third canto, 15th chapter, where the birth of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are described. So what happens is, when Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are conceived by Diti in her womb due to her some fault of or getting impregnated in the wrong time from her husband. And when she comes to know that the great demons are in her womb and he is going to give the birth to greatest of the demons, then she doesn't want to. She is also a Vaishnava. She is also a devotee of Krishna. But no, like she is the wife of Muni, Kashyap Muni. Yeah. So he is the wife of she is the wife of Kashyap Muni, and she is coming from a very cultured family. So she doesn't want others to suffer because of her mistake. So that's what she does. She withholds the babies in her womb for 100 years. So, but like no, when something is performed against the nature's law, it will it will it will actually causes greater uh, suffocation or greater disaster in the nature. So when she was holding the babies in a room for 100 years, a kind of darkness actually spread throughout the universe. And the demigods were shocked. What happened? What is it? Like something wrong with the universe. Why this darkness is spreading all over the universe? Then these demigods, they go to Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji find out what's going on in the womb of Mother Diti, and then he explains the story that how two great demons are going to take birth in this time, and he narrates how the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha Loka, Jaya and Vijaya, due to their offense toward the four Kumaras, they're going to fall, they fell down from the Vaikuntha Loka and they took birth as demons, and they are right now staying in the womb of Mother Diti. Okay, then in that course, Brahmaji explains how this event of cursing of Jaya Vijaya happened. So, in order to explain that, Brahmaji actually explains how, first of all, he explains about the Vaikuntha Loka, and then he describes about the men in the Vaikuntha Loka, and he describes about the Lord, how Lord's beauty and Lord's glories in the Vaikuntha Loka are described. And he describes about the different forests in Vaikuntha Loka. And he also describes about how couples, like married Vaikuntha Vasis, they move about in Vaikuntha Lokas. And he also explored the nature of the birds, how the birds, like kokilas and chakoras, even though they are able to sing nicely, when they hear the humming sound of the bee, they will become quiet, so that they can hear the glories of the Lord uh, from the bumblebee. And he also describes about the plants, various kinds of plants that are present in the Vaikuntha Loka. And he glorifies how the plants, all the plants in the Vaikuntha Loka, even though they are very high, very, what do you call, very high quality, very high class plants, but still all the plants they have utmost respect to Tulasi plant, because Tulasi has performed great tapasya to attain that position. And also Brahmaji explains about how the Vaikuntha Vasis they move about in aeroplanes, and also the women of the Vaikuntha Loka, and also about he explains about the Lakshmi Devi, and how Lakshmi Devi always serves and pleases the Supreme Lord. So, like such a nice description of Vaikuntha Loka, Vaikuntha planets happens in the uh, like no in the narration by Brahmadev. And after explaining all these things, Brahmadev says one thing. This is very why I'm going to explain all these things is to get to this point. Okay, if you can note down this point. Okay, third canto, 15th chapter, verse number 23, 24, 25. So these verses are very relevant to us, because see, we right now, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are into the spiritual circle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have unlimited access to the greatest of the scriptures, the essence of all the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, such a transcendental literatures. And also we know great deal about the pastimes, glories of Krishna and all those things. And Brahmaji, after explaining Vaikuntha Lokas and everything, he says to the demigods, he says that verse number 23, 3, 15, 23. Okay, I'll post it in the chat also if you want, you can. Okay. It is very much regrettable that unfortunate people do not discuss the description of Vaikuntha planets, but engage in the topics which are unworthy to hear and which bewilder one's intelligence. Those who give up the topic of Vaikuntha and take to talk of material world are thrown into the darkest region of ignorance. So this is what we have to take away. This is the point that we have to focus on. So Brahmaji clearly explains what is the nature of Vaikuntha Loka, what is the how everybody behaves in Vaikuntha Loka in the spiritual world. And then he says, even though these topics are so nice and so pleasing to hear, so beautiful, but still there are some people, it is very much regrettable, unfortunate people. Unfortunate means what is like Krishna says, right? Miserly misers, or unfortunate means unluckiest people. They don't take pleasure in hearing about these glories of the spiritual world. By hearing the glories of spiritual world, one develops the desire to go there. So when one develops a desire to go there, for example, why we have to listen about the spiritual world, why we have to listen about, why you have to daily hear Srimad Bhagavatam class, or don't speak about politics, don't speak about cinemas, don't speak about sports and all those things. All those things are material things. They only pollute our consciousness. We are not, if you see clearly, we are not going to have even little bit of tinge of uh, uh, even little bit of good happens in our life by focusing on the topics of politics, cinemas, uh, and gossip about others. Uh, our life, they are not going to bring any kind of transformation or any kind of good in our life. Such topics, they are going to waste our mental energy. They are going to waste our time. We are only going to develop wrong kind of taste and interest. See, for example, no, like until when I was in school, I was not taking much interest in about the cricket and all those things. But there we used to have one classmate. He's a junior, but he is so much addicted. As soon as a newspaper comes, he immediately goes to the sports section and keeps reading the sports. And then after reading the sports, he not only makes it himself. After he comes and narrates that, oh, this match is going to happen, and we need this run. These teams are going to play like that. He's going to he explained about the sports. Even though I was not interested in the sports, gradually, after hearing from him over the period of time, I also kind of developed some kind of interest. Okay, then I used to ask, okay, who is playing like that, and and also how many matches you have to win. In the beginning, that was my interest, and after some time, still going further after as the time passes, I also started taking and started reading the headlines. Oh, this Australia versus India match like this today, like that. And after few more months, I started reading in detail, like how which countries are playing, and how much points they have to gain to go to semifinals, finals, and all those things. And after that, I got to, and means my consciousness went deeper as as the time progressed in that improper association. So if you see, that is not going to help me, that is not helped me in my life in any manner. It's only gave me some sense of like false pleasure. Oh, our India is winning, our India is trashed that other country. That kind of like the satisfaction of titling of the false ego. So that is the power of association. That is the power of hearing. When we regularly hear about something, we will correlate, we wanted to experience, we wanted to know. And I went into a stage, I started from like hours and hours sit in front of TV, and right from first ball to last ball, I watched the cricket matches, like that too in the school. So I'm just giving, I was not very much addicted also, but even though I don't have any interest, I even like now also I don't feel much interest on them. I never felt interest in them, but only because of the description that person, that my fellow students used to pay into, I developed that inquisitiveness. I developed that curiosity. Oh, what is going on? Like because when everybody comes together and talks about cricket match, I should have something to. I should be able to. Like it's a kind of peer pressure. I should also be able to understand them like that. I I was forced to develop this interest. So later on, like after I, as soon as I passed out the school, I never again went into cricket. But sometimes and somewhere they say, okay, these matches are happening. Okay, I never took much interest. So that is the power of association. If we associate with devotees who are actually spiritually minded, who are actually very serious about spiritual life, when you see like for example, when you see some devotees, they immediately they quote a shloka, or they explain about nice point about Krishna, like especially one time like generally devotees meet also, they sometimes say, oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu, how are you, like that only. But it is also better always whenever when you meet some devotees, we just discuss, yes, Radha Gopi, we just discuss what you have read, or what inspiring point that you have come across today. Like Rasigubi Prabhu, like it was the I see with I just said him Hare Krishna Prabhu. Then he said Hare Krishna Prabhu. What I came to know about this. Uh, the internal energy of the Lord. Krishna says Daivi Heshu Gunamayi Mamo Ayad Duratayat. And then he says, um, the devotees take shelter of my internal energy. That internal energy is none other than Radharani, like that he shared. And he just said that for 5 minutes, and I was thinking deeper, and how come I missed this when I read Bhagavad Gita, but I didn't give a thought to this point. Who is internal energy? And Krishna mentioned about internal energy, Srimati Radharani in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Means just by that one moment of association, that moment of discussion between the devotee will take us deeper into the spiritual thoughts, the spiritual being, or in our spiritual life. So it is always we can try, at least now we get some, like, somebody post some quotes of Maharaj, or we come across some video or some audio of good exalted devotees. We can discuss about that, see what mood they expressed it, and we can express whatever we have read and whatever interesting point that we come across, instead of talking something else. Of course, we should talk about seva, we should talk about their well-being, but along with that, we should add something spiritual, something from Shastra, something from our Vaishnava dealings. So that way, uh, it is said, like we our progress will develop. Like in the next verse, Brahmaji says to the demigods. Lord Brahma said, is 3:15:24. Okay, Lord Brahma said, "My dear demigods, the human form of life is such an important that we also desire to have such life. For in the human form, one can attain the perfect religious truth and knowledge. If one in this human form of life does not understand the supreme personality of Godhead and his abode, it is to be understood that he is very much affected by the influence of external energy, external nature. So here Brahmaji is saying, see, demigods, my dear demigods, human form of life is such an important thing. We should also go and take the human form of life, because it is said in the heavenly planets, in the Brahma Loka, the material facilities so much so that like they will be hardly able to allocate time for self-realization. That's why even if demigods want to attain perfection in their life and go back to Godhead, they have to come to the earthly planet, they have to perform bhakti, and then go back to Godhead. That's why Brahmaji comes in the form of Haridas Thakur in the next life. All the great devotees, they become part in the Chaitanya Lila. All the demigods, many demigods. So, fortunately, we got that human form of life, and we should very carefully utilize that human form of life for the ultimate benefit of our spiritual progress, or our for us to be able to go back to Godhead. So, but in the next verse, Brahmaji again says, the person, like, who is eligible to go back to Godhead? What is the qualification what is the position that we have to reach for us to go back to Godhead? Brahmaji says, person whose bodily features change in ecstasy and who breathe heavily and perspires due to hearing the glories of the Lord, are promoted to the kingdom of God, even though they do not care for meditation or other austerities. The kingdom of God is above the material universe, and it is desired by Brahma and other demigods. So, we have to reach, like, see, as I said, my example of cricket, right? In the beginning, I just, I just paid the interest of, okay, who is playing match? Like in the few weeks, I used to ask that question and then leave it. And after a few weeks, I started going through what all teams are playing. And then after a few weeks, I started going deeper into the subject matter. So when somebody says, "Oh, India is India as going to semifinals or finals or or they when they describe over the cricket match, I used to feel so much excited. Hmm. So, in the same way, here also, when we actually regularly read and discuss and hear about the glorious pastimes of Krishna or the about the Vaikuntha Loka or the spiritual topics, then we go deeper, deeper, deeper into the spiritual topics. As soon as we hear about any uh, quality, any pastime of Krishna, and our meditation will increase, we derive so much pleasure that like we should be able, we will be able to over a period of time develop these qualities that Brahmaji is explaining. What are the qualities? The person whose bodily features changes in ecstasy and who breathe heavily and perspire due to having hearing the glories of the Lord. So that is the stage that one has to achieve. So this is possible by continuous hearing, by continuous chanting, and like our heart should become completely pure of metal contaminations. Our consciousness should be fully occupied with the spiritual topics. Then this kind of ecstasy, this kind of spiritual bliss one can experience. Only see, death is a point where our desires will be fulfilled. Hmm? If somebody attached to this metal world, oh, I'm Indian, I'm this family, I'm a man of this family, or I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm a father. When you have that kind of attachments, metal nature will say, okay, you stay here and continue here only, like that. But when we regularly hear the spiritual topics, when we meditate on Krishna, when we actually aspire to, oh, no, when we feel great ecstasy in hearing the topics of Krishna, then at the time of death, we will meditate on Krishna and we will go back to Godhead. So that is the goal that we have to achieve. Okay. So it's already 9:10. If anybody have any questions, so one important thing. So then, how can we achieve that ultimate goal? See, everything is okay, but how is it possible for us to achieve that ultimate goal? Srila Prabhupada gives very simple process. Yes, he says, Kali Yuga, everybody is a mercy case. No one of us have qualification to achieve or go back to Godhead by our own endeavors. If you take birth in Kali Yuga, means you are a mercy case. So for that, we just have to follow simple guidelines given by our acharyas. What did Prabhupada says? Just maintain purity. Purity is the force. Hmm? Purity means humility, unblemished character, simplicity in our dealings means and unblemished simplicity or humbleness. Hmm? So simple lifestyle, that is the purity of life. Means we should not have any kind of duplicity in our heart. So that is the pure that's contribute to the purity of mind, body, and the consciousness. So that purity is the force, and purity is the force, and books are the basis. Okay, books are like books are the standards with which we have to align our lifestyle. So if we actually follow the scriptures given by Srila Prabhupada, we read them regularly and regularly check with ourselves, are we following this? Am I actually following the books written by Srila Prabhupada or not? Is my lifestyle is actually in line with Prabhupada's instruction or not? If we regularly follow that, our lifestyle, entire lifestyle, our thinking, feeling, willing, everything should be based on the instruction given by Srila Prabhupada. And then utility is the principle. We should utilize everything and whatever we have, the skills, the property, the ability to talk, ability to serve, everything in the service of Krishna. Utility is the principle. And Prabhuji yesterday mentioned one more thing, that time is the essence. Time, no, to manage our time, because See, as a human form of life, Prabhupada writes it is very difficult for one to go back to Godhead within one lifetime. It may take many, many lifetimes. But if we sincerely and seriously try, we may actually make it in one lifetime also. So for that, we have to very, very carefully utilize our time. So our time should be our time is very precious. Chanak Pandit says, right? Even if you lose entire of your wealth, you can get it back. But even if you lose a moment of time, you'll never be able to get back with entire wealth in the creation. So the time is such a valuable commodity, and we have to use it very, very carefully. So these four things, like purity is the first. We have to maintain the purity of body, mind, and consciousness. And books are the basis. We have to align our life with the books, the instruction given by Srila Prabhupada in his books. And utility is the principle. Utilize everything in Krishna's service. Not even one thing should be left out without utilizing in Krishna's service. That way, we will remember Krishna every time and every moment. And then time. We should be very productively use our time. Okay. That is what I have today. If you have any questions or comments, you can take it now. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, anything to say? Hare Krishna online, anybody have any questions or comments? I hope you are able to follow.
No questions, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai.